Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
Can't put me again. You can't put me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't put me again. Can't put me again. You can't put me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't put me again.
What fi gonna eat no money, what fi at you, eat no at you. Covid money, miss away in the yellow rat you. Use the youth, them on them waste, must a man to statue. Say me like a catch you, but me got in a figure you. Take the script of money, girl, and say that it's not you. One day the man above him up, him a got a bet. Too much it in the kitchen, some a fly well like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me.
300% raise.
It burn me.
Garbage pile up the day.
It burn me.
Give the teacher them
It
raise.
burn me.
I see corruption please.
It burn me.
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me.
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me.
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me.
And them a sell out with each.
Can't put me again. You can't put me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't put me again. Can't put me again. You can't put me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't put me again.
For me say dig up all the charities and all of the giver. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The already promises, none of them no deliver. Cut up the youth, them rough and they down in our fever. Member bold money and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me.
Or they treat the market man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the cat man.
It burn me.
Or they treat the peanut man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the dirt man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the sun man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat policeman.
It burn me.
Or them a treat soldier man.
It burn me.
How them a treat everyone.
Can't put me again. You can't put me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't put me again. Can't put me again. You can't.
Stibbidim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no keep. And some informer friend we love like. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for. We in Global TV, check it.
Good evening, and welcome to Global TV. Thank you for joining us this evening. Welcome to another Jive Time London Lunchtime Global on your channel here this evening. Thank you all for joining us. This evening, we are going to look at abuse of judicial powers. Are our judges abusing their powers? That is what we're going to look at this evening. To my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls, good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Bear with me. Let me see who is here. Debbie Jarvis TV, good evening. Good evening and welcome. Sandra Stewart, good evening. Canadian Gal, good evening. Abinasa Cody, Marcia Thomas. And to those who are silently watching, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. TikTok, good evening. We're not on IG this evening. Coming battery dead. Great one, Joseph Hamilton, Mirel, Dickey, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. My reason for asking this question this evening as to whether our judges are abusing their power. It's an article, Sharon Bernard. How you doing? Millicent Jones. It's an article in the Gleaner. You remember that young lady that was arrested following a threat she made after the death of Thickman. We also saw where the entertainer was arrested on freedom of speech. The government said it violates the code. But the broader question is, does it warrant arbitrary? Joseph Hamilton, good evening. You don't have to tell me you're JLP, you know. This platform is for everybody. It's not a partisan platform. Everyone is welcome on my platform, providing people have respect for the audience and the house and put their point across without being nasty or disrespectful about it. My platform, Debbie and Duncan, how you do? My platform is for everybody to have their free speech. But I want to see if I read this article first. Hold on, let me turn my phone sideways to get a better view. Can't know old people I read, so you have to fix it for the aged eye. All right? Bail again denied for woman charged in issuing threat after Tickman's death. Is it Dana Warren, who is charged with allegedly making threat in a video post on social media following the shooting death of the reputed Don Otnell Tickman Laban by the police, was further remanded in court on Tuesday after being denied bail once again. Ms. Warren, 22, of Mapen, Clarendon, is charged with malicious communication. During a bail application in the St. Catherine Parish Court, her attorney, Rodane Richardson, argued that Warren has no connection with the gangster in St. Catherine. In advocating for her client's release, Richardson referenced the case of the dancehall artist, Kippridge, who was being charged in relation to a song that the police claim endorses gang violence and paid tribute to Laban. Kippridge, who has denied the allegation, is out on station bail. We would rather say police bail, as opposed to a judge bail. Your Honor, I have noticed in recent times someone else have been charged similarly, but benefited from bail. I think it is only fitting for bail to be considered, Richardson said. The judge also emphasized that Warren is facing a serious charge and that no new evidence had been presented to satisfy granting her bail. As a result, Warren was remanded to facilitate a psychiatric evaluation report, which remains outstanding. The case is scheduled to return to court on the 1st of April. Allegations are that on the 23rd of January, the accused went on social media posts to issue threat to the police following Laban's demise in an alleged confrontation with cops. An investigation led the police to Maple, Clarendon, where Warren was arrested. She was subsequently charged following a question and answer session. So the judge is saying the malicious communication is a serious charge, said the judge, Millicent Jones. Malicious communication. The judge considered to be quite a serious charge. Real sweet. And the judge is saying, I see no new evidence that Miss Warren warrants bail. I don't know if the police or Paula's office would have satisfied the court that Miss Warren's continuous detention is warranted because she's of high risk to the public. I wonder if they've established that. One of the questions I want to ask as well, are our judges misogynists? No, we don't only have female judges. Another question to ask, are our judges or independent, ought to be independent judges working at the behest of our political leaders? The reason why I'm asking this question, I've seen when it comes to those who pose a risk to the public following an allegation of a criminal activity, such as murder, rape, and those serious levels of offense, abduction, and all that jazz. Those people would be deemed in law as being a continuous risk to the public. Thereby, it would warrant their detention because the detention is for public protection. We see where our judges offer bail to people who are accused of rape, people who are accused of murder. We see quite a glaring example in front of us just the other day. As opposed to a woman who is charged for fraud and a woman who has been charged for malicious communication. But our judges are saying those women are a risk to the public or a flight risk as to why we have to continue to detain them. It doesn't stand up as a sound argument from our learned judges when you see more than once our judges grant bail to people who are on rape or murder charge. Rape or murder charge, yes. We've seen that experience more than once. But even though Gene and Panton is involved in a massive fraud, I didn't pick any card out I know about. Even though Gene and Panton is charged for a serious fraud offense, arguably, one cannot advance an argument that one, she's of such great flight risk, why we have to keep her detained. Because you can deal with that in many different ways. You can restrict her passport, put in a flight embargo on her. You can also have her report to a police station once or twice a day if you think you need to do that. But to say that Gene and Panton arrest, continuous detention is warranted, I don't think that argument stand up. Given that we've seen the Russian Barnett, Patterson, the Russian Patterson, that was a glaring case in front of us. That was a young man who have a long criminal history from 2010, I think, onwards, that the police or the judges could have used as a guideline to say, this person is a danger to the public. Because we see police say him and him in a confrontation, the family say it's an extrajudicial killing. But something don't sit right when our judges think that they're keeping us safe from a woman who has committed fraud and a woman who has been accused for malicious communication, as opposed to people who rape and murder. It really, really, really doesn't make sense. And I don't understand if our judges are drinking from the same water bottle that our politician drinks from. Because when you compare this case, say with Russian Patterson, how a judge is going to justify that Russian Patterson bail was justiciable, given that he went back on the street, seemingly to be carrying out his same behavior and practices. It doesn't look good, judges. It looked like because these two cases are politically connected, judges are ordered into use the law to suppress people on behalf of the government, because I can't think otherwise. Because certainly, Jean and Pantan isn't a risk. Now, this young lady, words have it that she have mental health issues. You can see from the Gleaner report story also, the court is waiting for a psychiatric evaluation as well. If that is the case, if that is the argument, is that if that is the belief, then detention in a police cell, if there's any mental health issue surround this young lady, detention in a police cell is just not the right place. Miko. Lyndon, well go on. It's certainly just not the right place. Detention in a, if she have psychiatric problem. And if she required psychiatric evaluation, what's taking so long? Is it that she have to have it done privately, or the state require it, or it's requested by her defense attorney? But either way, if there's a mental health issue involved, then the government should rather, because the police is the government. The police is a part of the executive. The Ministry of National Security is a part of the government. So when we talk about the police and we refer to the government, and people say the police is not the government, no, the police is a part of the executive branch as well. The executive branch is not just the cabinet, it's much wider. Okay? It's contain a lot of departments and agencies. So when we're referring to those entities, agencies, or department, we generally say the government, because they're makeup. They're all of what make up the executive. But I'm really thinking our judges, one, is either incompetent, abusing judicial powers willfully, or they're acting at the behest or the order of the government. Because certainly, Jean and Pantan and this young lady, regardless of how deadly her threat might sound, it doesn't warrant the excessive or the arbitrary detention, the violation of one's fundamental rights, freedom of liberty. What if a judge ruled when on trial or juror that these people are not guilty? You see how long you would have deprived them of their rights to liberty? You see how the government could end up in a lawsuit that digs into the pocket of us, the taxpayers? You cannot have law where only goes for certain people. Because Maricia Dalrymple Filbert is a criminal as well. Yes, I know, so we carry a scale where we weigh crime pan. But crime is crime. And Mr. Darrell come and I make one new guy. I don't like to tell lie on people, no, so we don't know if it's true. Because we hear you know, everything happen to do with the government as somebody else have to be blamed for it. Them say a hoodlums is to be blamed for the phone outage, the service outage, and all that. So them say them thing went through vandalism. Me don't know if it's the usual thing where when anything for government now work, somebody else have to take the blame except for government. But Paula, you need to do justice, Paula Llewellyn, because your office is the one who is fighting to keep this young lady on remand. You're the one, your office is the one fighting to keep this young lady on remand. How much of a danger is she? Has the police established that she's an active part of the said gang or is closely connected to members of the said gang? It just don't make sense. It don't make sense when Paula want to convince us that I have to continue to ask for these people to be on remand. And the judges continue to keep them on remand. But judges are quite happy to put some dangerous criminals out in society pending trial. Roshan Patterson is the worst disgraceful example that we see happen the other day, where months after he was bailed, whether true or not, it is said he went back to the same criminal activity. Him end up being killed by the police. Explain what is not making sense, Joseph. Explain what is not making any sense. I'm talking about abuse of judges' powers, and I'm weighing up cases that I've seen them release people on bail as opposed to people who are still on detention for less serious offense. There is a fundamental right to liberty. It's not everybody that commit a crime should be arrested pending trial, especially in a judicial system as ours, which have tantamount of backlog and which is moving quite slow. With case in the court, look how long Virginia and Pantan still await pan trial. What, we're into the third year of it now? When it comes to like pedophiles, kidnappers, murderers, people with firearm, those who pose a risk to society are those who you can be deemed to have a risk, pose a risk to society. Those people, you can deprive them of their liberty pending trial. There's a principle in law called proportionality. if you're going to restrict a person's liberty, the restriction must be proportionate to the rights of the other person that you're protecting. Now, if a person commits a murder and is quite an outraged criminal out there that poses a risk to the public, the proportionality balance falls in the public interest because you have to protect the public from that risk. Whereas someone who, like Gene and Panton say, carry out a fraud, she has committed a serious crime, but her on bail is not a risk of harm to the general public. You can bail people like those subjected to conditions in Gene and Panton case because she's quite clever with online scamming. You would ban her from using internet and devices such as phone and laptop. These are some of the measures you put in place. So it's balancing between protecting people being scammed by her being out on the street, as opposed to denying her liberty without balancing a measure. Because the fact that you keep her in a prison, it don't mean say everybody's safe from scamming, but you can give her her freedoms with limitation rather than an arbitrary detention. I hope that makes sense to you. The problem is, as I was saying with Darrell Vaz, him said the telecom outage galanging caused by vandalism. Minister, I know you forgive them report that to the public. If the police investigate and find that it is such, then make the police update us. Because we don't know the government, the member of parliament, the minister of cabinet to be an investigator. But everything when I work in this country, it is because somebody else do it and not the government. Hello, like Jean and Panton, she stole money from a whole bunch of people. Allegedly, she never killed nobody, but she's still in prison herself. But judge did not find it necessary to release. A convict. This is my problem with these judges. This is no balance whatsoever. If you didn't see the need to protect the public from somebody who is in gang, somebody who has access to gun, somebody who is accused of murder, not the first time, there's a history behind this young man. And he was granted bail to roam the street and get on with his life. That's a young man that poses risk to the public at large. He poses a lot of risk to women. But the judge let him out. And now the judge wants us to believe that a woman who threatens the police, albeit the court is saying it's quite a serious offense, the court is making it out to us that warrants her detention. if there's a psychiatric problem or you think there's a psychiatric problem, why don't you detain her at Bellevue? Why don't you detain her at Bellevue rather than at a police station? Because if she's having mental health problems, a police station don't provide the services that would assist her. But I mean, I understand. Anyway, just don't understand. But when you look past, say, the same prime minister who is in a lot of catawire with his assets and all of that, when can declare there's lots of conflict of interest. There's money where the prime minister cannot account for. There's money coming from SSL to the prime minister's account. We hear of the prime minister have how much it chuck in a mine development and all that jazz. Oh, how we wish though that this prime minister would come to the nation with a clear crime plan rather than threats, threats, threats. Because while the prime minister was celebrating International Women's Day yesterday, the prime minister couldn't avoid getting it in to women and mothers across the country that let your children know that I'm going to make sure they do not benefit from the proceeds of their crime. I'm not here to back up or defend criminal, but we always hear the old saying, you cannot fight fire with fire. There's a way you have to fight gangs all out. Many different tactics, not just going around shooting wildly. From the community level to active combat, you have to have many different ways of policing issues like these. But when it's about threats, and no development of communities and catchment areas beyond that, you're only going to find it getting more out of control because police eyes are not always out and about out there. And the more the police and the community becomes wider in connection or communication, is the more things go under the radar without the police catching on to it early or have an understanding of who the players are. Julie, Miss Mango, how are you? Have a good understanding of who the players are. Because if we have proper community policing, where the police and the people have a relationship, not just have a relationship, one that the people trust the police enough to assist the police in crime fighting, I'm sure if we try it, it is something that might work. I know the communication and everything between when we police them, the connection between we and them, it's kind of lost on a lot of level. But the type of society where we live in, it's not hard to rebuild trust between the people and the police because they're all from our communities. We know them before them are police. We know them since them are police and all that. So it's don't hard for you to have that relationship with the police that would benefit their crime fighting. The issue, I think, is the distance in the relationship between the people and the police. There's not that level of trust or confidence coming from the communities to say that we're going to make sure we work with the police to drive these criminals out of our community. But it don't seem like them are going to try it. Real sweet, Arlene Foster, go on. It don't seem like we're going to get any cohesive crime plan right now. I hold this. Mary, Asa. Thanks for being here. It don't look like we're going to get no comprehensive crime plan. And as I'm saying to the government, the bare threats, the social threats, I don't think they're going to work. As well as going around eliminating them brutally, I don't think that will solve much either. You may take out certain people, but there are several gangs of them. You have young people coming every day. This is why I'm saying it needs to be a community effort where you stop the recruitment of young people in the community to these gangs. Because if we deal with policing at the community level, we cut off the supply to the gangs and we make the community become uncomfortable for the gangs to stay in. Rather than we leave them to take control of a community, to take ownership of the community and form gunmanship and extortion ring within the community. If we do community policing, build back the trust with the people and the police, we may find a way to cut off the supplies to the gang, as well as make our communities unfriendly to the gangs. Because if them get community intelligence, you can take down some of these people and imprison them without killing them. But on the other hand, we know corruption run rampant in our policing system, in our law enforcement system, as well as in our judiciary, as well as in our government. Corruption run rampant. The cause of most of the crimes we're experiencing as a country, they are being bred out of corruption. Our politician is highly involved. Because why I think politicians should take a different approach to fighting crime, not just a gun-ho mentality. Remember, these are the very same politicians that arm these young men. A lot of these young men, not all of them, I'm not blaming politicians for all of them, but we know the history of our country. where we know that our politicians are involved in the drugs and gun illegal activities. So some of these young men that the government is going around cutting down brutally, the government made them to be who they are. The government destruct their education system. A lot of them, the government put guns and rental cars in their hands, especially now that the silly season will be coming up in the next few weeks, the general election. It will be pretty much a lot of that going on. The issuing out money here and there, the renting cars so you can have your political operative going here, there, and there. We are used to this from the 70s, 80s. Coming up. A lot of these dons and gangs or relatives of some of the people who was created by the Jamaica Labour Party and the People's National Party in the 70s, 80s onward, where them turn loose power. Because we know that PMP associated to Klansman, we know that Labour associated to what's you might call it, one order. How Tivoli and Rima did go again. Rima connected to PNP as Diego, and Tivoli Gardens a Labour right. And you must remember that it was the same Bruce Golden who was active in the Spanish Town and Western Kingston face-off with a DK Duncan in the late 70s, early 80s. It was that same Bruce Golden that turned that gun at the same Tivoli Gardens, who Bruce Golden, Babsy Grange, and Edward Siaga and others helped to arm that community. But it was them same one go back in there. What you say, Rima Labour right? Okay. But Tivoli Labour right. I wish a jungler PNP. Anyway, I don't understand the Western Kingston politics too broad. But remember, it was politicians that arm places like Tivoli Garden. And it was the same politicians who went back there and turned the guns at them. It's the same politicians who gonna go turn the guns on them. So this is why I'm saying, Jamaica people make we wake up. One, make we stop fight against one another. Make we stop fight for politicians. Because these same politicians were walking and shoot down, you know, young men. They must go use on in the next few weeks to do some of them dirty work in order to attain power. But after they get them power, just like in the 1980s, when them calling back for them gun them and couldn't get them, it turned into a brouhaha up until now. It's from then, from the mid-70s to the 80s, when the face-off between Siaga and Michael Manley, that crippled our country when it comes to crime up until today. From then, our country was crippled with crime up until today. And a lot of that crime was bred by our very own political official. They funded it because it benefits maintaining them in power, the creation of garrisons by both political parties in our country in order to maintain a stronghold, but still keep those die-hard community underdeveloped and no farm of investment, but you lock them into an enclave of gutterism and gangsterism. We need to change the way we police. The other question to ask, has corruption, Bruce don't do anything to Tivoli. What is long time? Stop tell lie. Oh, you mean me I tell lie? I never Bruce turn gun pan Tivoli people for arrest Dodos. Am I lying about that? I think the documentaries are out there, Christine, aren't they? You can just go and check. The documentaries are out there. The interviews are out there. I never PNP turned the gun pan Tivoli. I'm not here to spread propaganda. I'm just saying what happened. And you can't tell me, say, politicians don't arm our young men. Because I have evidence of Dr. Chang distributing 200 AK-47s in flankers Montego Bay in 2021. So this is even more recent than Bruce Golding. So I don't understand. Or you say me I tell lie Bruce never do anything. Who turned the guns at the people of Tivoli? Still, you know, see me sit down here and make excuse for PNP. Do I? I'm not making excuse for PNP. PNP and Labour in a gang. I've just said it. If you open your ears and listen. But when my lady there come talk about Bruce Golding never do nothing, you know be attentive lie about history. Maybe if you don't have the evidence what me have pan Dr. Chang, if you don't have the evidence what me have pan Dr. Chang, you may say I'm lying on Dr. Chang. But Dr. Chang is within his right to sue me because the evidence will stand up in court because it comes from his own JDF members who he trained. They have the evidence on him. Them just can't bring it forward to him because him will kill them or him will have them killed or dismissed or whatever. But if Dr. Chang wants to sue me, no still, and not that are the problem. You don't want to hear the truth. The truth is the truth. I'm not making up things and said, how long have I talking about the justice system? Now as me come to the issue of politician and crime, why you get so worked up? What I'm talking about is what happened. PMP and Klansman, Labour and one another. It's true. It's no lie. JLP was the one who armed Tivoli Gardens. If you remember the Siaga history, I'm not lying about that. Bruce Golding turned the gun at Tivoli. I'm not lying about it. Me know you don't like to hear it, but I'm not making it up. But you should also hear the bit where I'm saying that we need a policy that pushes community policing. We need a better relationship with our community and police because that will help, because you must never hear this bit, to cut off the supplies to the gangs, as well as it will make the gangs feel uncomfortable living in those communities, unable to take over those communities and attain donship and building their extortion ring. You must not take out one line when someone is speaking holistically. You pick out one line and you get worked up and lament over it. What that can do, that can give you a whole misunderstanding of what the person is discussing or what point the person is making, because you have latched yourself to just that one thing that I might have said that is not comfortable enough for you. So, one must listen to learn and not to reply. Listen to learn and not to reply. Thank you very much for being here this evening. We have done our 1 hour where we'll come out here for, yes, we're coming back with our Drive Time London in the evenings. We're probably going to, I don't know if I just want to do Drive Time London and TikTok and do it as a panel discussion, because TikTok have a better platform for panel discussion. You can all give me feedback on that, because it is the silly season coming up, and definitely we would want to hear the views of the people, whichever political party you support, or if you're an independent voter, we would want to hear from you. What are you expecting an Andrew Holness government to continue to do if he gets back into power? Or, for that matter, what will you expect a Mark Golding government to look like, and what changes they will bring to our country? These are the type of discussion we want to have, especially, Super D, how you do? Especially now that the silly season is upon us. So give me your feedback and let me know. You can put your feedback in any of the chat, any of the video on the page. Just let us know if you think you'll be interested in us going forward with panel discussions in the Jive Time slot. Great one, thank you. So give us your feedback and let us know, because we want to be dynamic in the broadcasting space. When we have the panel, then we can get the rest me lab out, and some of the people then who might have an objection to a sentence of the conversation I'm having can join and give their view as to how they see their country going, how they would want it to go, and what they would be looking for their leaders to do, whoever elected PNP or JLP. Thank you all very much for being here with us this evening. Lovely to have your support. As always, this was your program, Drive Time London, Lunchtime Global. Join us back in the next few hours for the people's point of view right here on Global TV. Thank you very much for being here with us this evening. Join us tonight. Goodbye.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.